This is me. I'm sleeping, probably later than I should be. The date is April 29th, 2018, and my phone beeps from an Instagram message. But it doesn't actually beep because I have my Instagram notifications turned off. But for the sake of this story, we'll say that it beeped, alright? There aren't any rules. The message is from Sweaty Cargo Shorts. Gross. I was visiting Waynesville, North Carolina, and on the second day of my trip, I met Jim Martin. He is the kindest, most inspiring man I've ever met. We were talking and he mentioned that he used to skate/mentor a young kid by the name of Spencer Barton. I instantly knew the name sounded familiar and thought about it for a minute until I realized that I knew exactly who he was talking about. I had come across a couple of your YouTube videos in the past and had seen just how talented you were. And I don't mean to brag or anything, but... So naturally I told Jim I knew of you and showed him one of your videos. He was extremely proud and beyond impressed with how talented you've become. He's interested in trying to reconnect with you eventually and told me to send you this photo. Hopefully you see this. Well, I did see it, and all of that is true, so who's Jim Martin? Well, you're about to find out, but all you need to know right now is that he's a legend, and I used to skate with him back at my local park when I was like 13 years old, except he was 70. Now, it's been years since I've seen or even heard from Jim, and I had no clue if he was still skating or how old he was exactly or even if he was still around. So I was pretty excited to get this message. I responded to Sweaty Cargo Shorts. Gross. So he gave me Jim's email and then told me he was 77. Which, by the way, I researched world's oldest skateboarder and I found a few people in their 60s, but the oldest one I could find was 72 years old. Disclaimer, I did find a man named Jerome DeFreitas who is currently 101 years old and is still a professional skateboarder. However, he isn't still skateboarding in his old age, and he hasn't been for many, many years. So at this point, I have Jim's email, but literally no other way to contact him, and I don't know where he is in the world or how to find him. So I sent him this. 2 weeks went by and still no response. I even checked phone books but didn't find anything. But then I remembered that the last time I had saw him, he was in Asheville, North Carolina. So I went to a certain office that looks up residents by their driver's license. So I'm feeling like an FBI agent right now, or a stalker. Anyways, that office told me that he had moved to Waynesville. Which I probably should have thought of in the first place because that's where he was in the message that I got from Sweaty Cargo Shorts. Gross. We're getting warmer. So I go to Waynesville and look at the local skate park. And the locals there say that they see him there pretty often, which gives me hope. So then, through further investigation and help from some people in very high places, I found his address. But still no way to contact him, so we just decided to drive to his house and hope he was there. We've been driving over an hour so far, just trying to find this guy's house. We don't even know if he's there. We don't know where he's at. The only information we have right now is where he lives, so we're hoping for the best.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Should we just go knock on his door?
All right.
Moment of truth.
You knocked like a 5-year-old. He's old. I got that like a solid 7.
Come on. Am I spamming him too much? Maybe I'm just wishful thinking here. He wasn't home. But luckily he lived in a complex that had an office, so we went to the office. Hello. Hey, I just have a question for you.
Sure.
Does Jim Martin live here?
He does.
He's an old friend of mine from a skate park in Brevard, and I have been trying to find him for the longest time. My name is Spencer Barton. He's a good friend of mine. He knows me well. And
Yeah, he's actually talked about you. He's actually mentioned that he was going to do a video with you or something. I think that was you, Spencer.
Yeah, wait, he said he wanted to do a video with me?
I'm pretty sure.
Because I want to do a video with him. Is he here?
I can't give you his number, but I can call him and let him know, that you're here. His voicemail said the old skater. Hey, it's Miranda here. I just wanted to let you know that Spencer Barton stopped by. I hope you guys are able to get in touch with each other. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. You're welcome to leave a note on his door.
My upside down sticky note. I hope the font is big enough. And now we wait. A few more days pass and I finally get
the call. And the call was...
It was Jim. It was Jim that called me and he wanted to meet up and skate. Which brings us to today actually. So let's go meet him. Well, I guess you could start. You could just start with like your name and your age.
Okay.
My name is Jim Martin, known as the Old Skater, and I'm 78 years young and still doing it and loving every minute of it.
So when did you start skating?
I was 50 years old when I got on the board.
Because you surfed before you skated, too.
Oh, yeah, I spent 20 years on a surfboard. From 23 years of age to my late 30s till I moved up to Asheville from Miami. How it happened was I was down in Hendersonville, Bible study, and this couple, a very close friend, their son Aaron, he heard I surfed and all, so he said to me one day, have you ever thought about getting on a skateboard? It's the same thing, you got the balance, you've ridden surfboards. He had a skateboard in the back of the car. I got on it and rode it. I could ride, I had the balance. I got hooked. I went and ordered a board online, which I still have.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
No, I felt good. That
wasn't bad.
I have to learn how to shift this like to keep it going personally. What I do like is I'm able to help kids learn and encourage them to develop their tricks and so forth. This is going to shock you. Down in Fort Lauderdale at Ramp 48, I said to Joe and Yuli, I want to learn to drop in. So at 65 years of age, I dropped in 15 straight times. I learned to drop in at 65. I can't now because of knees. I mean, I've had some things I had to cut back on because of knees.
There you go. That was awesome.
I was teaching a hippie jump maneuver to a 10-year-old down in Patton Park on my 69th birthday. Stepped up on the rail. I slid off the rail, separated the shoulder. I couldn't even close my hands. Ryland says, Mr. Jim, I hope you're not going to die. I was in pain. I said, you know, I can't complain because Jesus went through more than that for me. What am I going to complain? That's what I said to him. I couldn't believe I said it, but I said it. I remember it.
That's awesome.
And I said, what are you going to do? I'm going to drive myself to urgent care. This is what amazed me. I look back at that. I tell people this, I said, you did what at 69? You're still skating after that? I said, yeah, I'm skating better than ever.
How have you been feeling skating today? Pretty good?
Feel great. Feel great. I was amazed it came back. The timing came back a lot quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord for that.
Praise the Lord for that, man. There's a lot of people out there that say you shouldn't be doing this, saying that you're too old, that it's dangerous.
I don't hear from young people, though. I hear that mainly from my peers who are in my age bracket, within the 50s and up. They simply say you can get hurt. You did it when you were younger. They didn't realize I didn't start to do it until I was 50, but they said, you're getting too old, you can be hurt. You break a bone, it's more serious. But recently, when they were giving me a hard time, I said, are you listening? Age 69, I separated my shoulder. I couldn't close my hand. The guy who rehabbed me, he said, I'm gonna get you back on that skateboard, but don't rush it. He had me come over and speak to some of these people in their 50s. He told them how I got hurt, and they looked at me and said, I hope you're not gonna skate. I said, I'll be back on the board within 6 months. And I was.
Oh man, that's amazing.
But they're not me. I mean, they're wired different than I am. If the Lord takes his hands off me, that's different. But God's called me to do it. And I can do it. Yeah. And I know my limits. If I get out here and try to do what you do, or some of the better skaters, someone will put their foot up my rear end because I should know better.
How would you say you're feeling skating at this age as opposed to when you started?
You ready for this one? It feels better.
Feels better?
I feel better as far as enjoying it more. I'm not going to lie to you. I have lost some physical skills. I had to stop some things because age does take a toll on your body. This is a fallen world we live in. But I enjoy it more because I understand it more. Not bad for a grandpa, right? For a grandpa age guy. Yeah, 25.
Do you have like a daily thing that you do to get ready to skate, or any sort of routine
I do my stretches. You saw I didn't. I'd stretch out. I try to eat something with more protein. I eat healthy anyhow. I eat organic stuff primarily. I look at that verse, Philippians 4:13.
Philippians 4:13.
Then I water and all that.
Do you ever feel kind of worried for like an injury?
I don't think the fear is much. It's common sense. I have to listen to my body, and I realize, okay, that's the difference.
I hope that I can be skating when I'm your age. Do you know any skaters older than you? People were telling you you could have an injury as serious as death.
I still have an express ride to heaven afterwards.
So when are you going to quit?
Might be never.
So what do you have to say to all these young whippersnappers out there?
The longer you learn, obviously, the better.
Yeah, that did a number on the hood. Yeet!